If Eddard Stark had chose to remain in Winterfell, bearing in mind the ill fate that befell his father and brother, Lord Rickard Stark and Brandon Stark when they traveled south, and most recently Jon Arryn, then he just might have saved Winterfell. He wouldn't have been caught up in Robert's court squabbles, playing a dangerous game of which he had no clue what the rules were. Because when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. You don't even get the mercy of losing. Cersei's contempt, Littlefinger's betrayal, Varys' web of lies, Grand Maester Pycelle's idiocy and even Robert's humiliation of Eddard in the presence of the small council, when Eddard said he no longer wanted to be Hand, all this would have been prevented if only he had decided to stay at Winterfell. He mistakenly thought that because Robert was king, things would be different. He chose to be loyal to Robert even amidst warning signals. How can anyone ever in their right minds kill the sigil of their own house? Unless it's a lion, of course. If Eddard had thought about sparing Lady for 1 second, then he could have saved Sansa a lot of misfortune, even if it was just for a while, because, no doubt, the Lannisters would be on their heels waiting for the grand opportunity to chop off the direwolf's head. If he had allowed Lady to run into the wild, just like Arya did with Nymeria, then perhaps, Sansa would have had the chance to get in touch with her warging abilities. And this in turn might have come in handy after the execution of her father, just like it helped Arya to use a cat's eyes to see when her ability to see was taken from her, while she was at the House of Black and White. It is good for people to have a moral standard. I mean, one of the reasons the North so respects House Stark is because of its moral code. It isn't because it's not without its faults, but compared to other houses, House Stark is way more better, a saint, even. However, where does one allow himself to be led by a virtue, which in a situation becomes impractical? Right from the start of the book, Eddard's first mistake was immediately chopping off Garrett's head. Garrett wasn't a new recruit on the Night's Watch, he was a seasoned brother of the Night's Watch and had kept his vows stoutly. Because of Eddard's strict approach to honor, he became blind to the obvious, which is that, not everyone in Westeros regarded honor as anything worth paying attention to. If Eddard had seen the possibility of this, he might have seen through the veil of every lie and detected the lies hidden in the shadows. The cunning of Littlefinger, Varys, Cersei, and Grand Maester Pycelle would have shown through. When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. There's no middle ground. Even after Cersei plainly told Eddard that she'll not be backing down, he, blinded by his idea of honor, self-righteousness, and mercy, both for Cersei and her children, thought he could outmaneuver her, a person who has been in King's Landing way before his arrival, a person who had spies in the King's court, a person who is not afraid to use any means necessary to achieve her goal, and not just any person, but Cersei of House Lannister, who was the Queen of Westeros. If Eddard had gone straight to Robert after discovering Cersei's incestuous relationship with Jaime, he would only not have saved House Stark, but would have prevented the death of Robert. The terrible fate of House Stark would have been prevented a great deal if only Eddard took the initiative to look beyond the cloud of honor. It was the self-righteousness of Eddard Stark, Lord of Winterfell and Warden of the North that brought down the great House Stark.